Hi, greetings everybody. Welcome to another episode of TBH. To be honest, as you can see, so this is our first for me. This is episode 7. Episode 1 to 6 was just me and one individual having a conversation. But I saw that Evince has this project that they just released yesterday, and I decided I wanted to have a conversation with Evince. So, greetings, gentlemen.
Greetings.
Blessing.
Greetings.
All right. So for those who don't know, we have Winston. Winston, so greet the people. That's Winston. We have Najee.
Greetings.
Yes, we have Craig Campbell.
Greetings.
We have Gio Baker.
Follow on, people.
Oren Thomas.
Parents.
And Brendan Coleman. Cool. Now, Oren was actually on episode 2, and we spoke a little bit about events. But for those who didn't catch that episode, I just want to know first, how did the group originate? Anybody can answer.
Oren,
man.
If you want that. All right, so let me recap. It was 2000 and every time somebody asks me this, I ask Winston which year. I'm gonna tell him something now, I forget. It's 2016, am I right?
that's when the first practice started.
Right.
Yeah.
So the concept came up about 2015, the semester before 2015, and then we started our first practice in 2016. So the idea was conceptualized when I heard an arrangement that Winston did. He did an arrangement of I Pledge My Heart Forever. And so for those of you who don't know, we all are in the NTU space, that's Northern Caribbean University. So I used to see Winston, we would say Winston about the place. And I used to play piano. So it was a case where like I used to see him, but I didn't really know if he was musical or so. I would be playing sometimes and he'd see him there nodding and I like saying, yeah, but I didn't know that he knew he knew exactly what I was doing. It was when I heard I Pledge Now that I realized that
You're a genius.
yeah, something different about that guy. Yeah. Something different about that guy. So I asked him probably about 10 times.
Yeah.
Mr. Winston, are you do this? Like, are you arrange this? And him say, yeah, man, it was me. So the whole idea was to get a group of guys that could perform this kind of music, take 6 kind of music, 6-part harmony basically. And so that was how the idea was birthed, and that was how Evince was born. So it was in 2015, and then we had our first practice in 2016. Right, Winston?
Yeah.
What was the first song y'all sang, if you remember?
You remember? Was it Few More Miles?
Was the first song?
I
don't remember.
So.
I think we started practicing both Few More Miles and A Quiet Place together.
Yeah.
The first 2 songs.
Okay. So I know that the current
Just to jump in on what Oren said as well.
Yeah, man, go ahead, Brendan.
I was just gonna jump in on what Oren said about Winston. Yeah. I remember when I was at I was doing, I don't know if it was intro to programming or programming 1, which was both of them were C++. So and I wanted help with the programming. So I would go down to CIS department. So one day I went in there and I saw Winston. I didn't know him, but he was helping me with the programming assignment that I had. And I don't know how the conversation came up, but he started to show me some of his transcriptions. He was playing, I think he played one of the Take 6 songs. And I said, yo, and this guy really transcribed this, because I say, Winston, I don't know this guy as being any musical person. And then he let me hear one more and one more. And I keep drilling him just like Oren used to ask him if it's really him arranged I Pledge. Because I couldn't believe that this is a man that really sit down and transcribe and listen to the Take Six songs and put them in musical notation format. So and then from there we used to talk about Take Six and all of that from those times, and then I later discovered that Oren and Winston were in dialogue about forming a group. So I was very excited when that actually came to fruition.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Winston, talk to me. Cause everybody just shocked when I'm hear like your levels. Like how did you get into music and the type of thing that you do? Because I know you don't like play. You don't really play, but you transcribe and you arrange. So talk to me about how you got into that.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I did always like music from when I was young. It a funny story still. When I was in high school, start grade 7, I like say the first music test me do, me feel it, and get zero. Cause I know it's like music. I know it's like the notes part of it. Like singing, I know it's like the whole thing with the
The
crotchets
stick
and
and
all in. Yeah,
the D.
yeah.
Theory.
So me feel the chorus like I'm to myself say, oh boy. I think about it. I was a country youth, so me pass to go carnival and like to get zero to me, that was a big thing. So I say, no man, I can't afford to feel this, again. So I decided so I'm go do, I study everything, every material what the teacher teach me. And by studying it, I think then kind of started to that kind of a platform that helped me to now take the theory part of music more seriously. And then I started to like also the theory in addition to the singing.
Yeah, cool. So how you get into the 6 parts and the crazy jazz harms and all them things there?
So, at Adventist, we love a cappella music.
Right.
And with the same for me too. Like whenever we hear like any a cappella playing, I always want to sing that. And first I started with the a cappella company. I was in a group at my home church. And many times I would say it's nice to sing certain songs. I would try to pick out the songs and pick out the parts that they are singing. Then when I hear Take Six, boy, it took a long time before I could even understand what they were doing. But like every time I give up, I kind of say, no man, still want, I'm still want understand what happened because it was so difficult, but eventually though, over time I started to understand a few things until I started to understand it more and more.
Zing. Question, does the group have a leader or there's no like distinct leader?
Yes, Oren.
All right.
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
still have a leader. I would say Oren is
Yeah.
he organizes or mobilizes everybody into action then.
It was to be me and Winston, but
Yes, drop on you, Oren.
apparently.
So here's my question, because I know that the current members, this isn't how the group started. So talk to me about the movement from the original members, and what I want to know is like the thought process when you're to add somebody new. Like, what did you look for? What went behind the decision?
Brendan,
Boy,
you want to answer that?
looking for new members. Yeah.
So first, you can tell me who the original members were.
The original members were Winston, Oren, Craig, myself, Jehu, and Aaron. And Jehu was the first one to go, right?
Yeah.
Yes. But it's really hard to replace a member because it's not a typical a cappella group where you can, as long as you can harmonize, you're good to go.
You're not speaking the truth.
Compounding that problem, you have to.
Oh, Jordan, oh.
You have, you have to so you have to think about the person, whether they can actually learn the parts that they'll be given, plus can they fit into the section that is missing. So it's not, for example, Dale Honeyghan can sing, but we need a soprano. right? So even though he might be musical, he still can't fit into that part of the group. So it kind of makes finding somebody to sing kind of difficult. And we are a Christian group, so we also like to find persons who have a certain level of spirituality and who take the ministry serious. So when we were at a point where we were one or two, was it two or one member short? And it was a difficult process for us to fill that gap. And I remember approaching Najee first, and I said to Najee, I didn't approach him to sing in Evince. I just said to him, Najee, do you sing? He said no. I said you should start singing, man. That's all I said to him. And then and then Oren, I think Oren went back to him and asked him the same thing. He said no. But somehow Oren convinced him to join Evince. In the case of Gio, he was a next hard one as well. And the story behind Gio's admission to the group was a very, very long and tedious one. But we selected these two persons deliberately. We didn't just look for somebody who's singing in a group or who can sing, but we saw the potential in them and we tried our very best. We tried very hard, especially Gio. You can ask him. We did a lot of things, jumping through some loopholes just to get him to be a part of the group, because we take our singing very seriously and we try to get the best persons to fill the position so we can, because when you're singing this type of songs we sing, if you don't sound good, it will affect not just the ministry but how we sound overall. If one note is off or flat, it throws off the entire thing.
Right.
So when you take all of that into consideration, you find that it's very difficult to fill positions when one person leaves the group.
Najee and Gio, I want to hear from you too. So I want to know when you were approached, were you reluctant at first? Were you excited to get the call from Big Evan? Talk to me. What was that like? Being asked to join a group that already existed.
Do you want to go first?
No, sir, you go first, bro.
So for me, as Brendan said, him just approached me and said, "You sing?" So I said no. I didn't know the reason why he asked. So I was just being honest. I really don't sing, right? So I study music at NTU, right? That's my major. So I have musical knowledge, but I am just not a singer. So I could instruct a singer on what to do, but can I do it myself? I wouldn't, consider myself competent. So when Brendan approached me, I think he was just joking about it, because if you know Brendan, you know that Brendan is a little joker. So I said, Najee, you sing? So I said, no. So I realized that it was something that almost every time he saw me, he asked the same thing. So I was like, what am I up to? And then Oren approached me.
Work on their mind, and you have to just plant the seed and work on
the seed and water. Yeah.
Because after a time, Brendan kept on asking, and I start asking myself, can I sing though? So yeah. Then Oren came to me afterwards. I don't remember how many times, if it was one or more, multiple times. But then I realized that, it was more serious than it appeared on the surface than just, being asked question. Gio was drafted before I was. But everybody knows Gio as a singer. For me, it was so much of a surprise, even for my friends, and it was finally concrete. And I say, well, guys, I'm a part of Evince. And I say, what? You say no sing? How you end in Evince? Is that like that's an a cappella group? It's like Evince, how you reach this up? So it was a surprise to many, a surprise to myself. But it was something that was they approached me about it, and after a while I realized that you could be in Evince, and Evince was a group that I started NTU in 2017, and when I got there and learned about Evince, probably my first semester, I was saying that they're mad, they're just tough differently, and I just wasn't hearing anything like that, at least locally. So the first song I heard was I Pledge, and then I think they did the first Noel, and then I remember they dropped was it Alma Mater after that? I think that was the order. But I used to always listen to everything that they released, and I was like, why the man them bad? So, you know, being a part of the thought process when they were getting new members, even if I didn't get through, just the fact that they considered me was exciting alone. So then I finally, you know, was there. They invited me to one practice, and when I got there, in music I have to do a course called sight singing and dictation. For that course, you basically get notes and you have to just sing them. So you probably get a reference note or not, and you just have to replicate that. So the first time I went to Evince practice, it was somewhat of a similar exercise. Instead, I remember the first practice, I didn't get the actual notes. I got like the numbers. So I got like 1, 3, flat 7 and stuff like that. And I was there and I was struggling. And I said, well, I can't come here as a music major and cannot do this. So when you feel that way on myself, come here, I said, boy, you come at the man then practice and flop out yourself. So I was there and really I have to do some introspection. And I was there. But that was the only song that was transcribed that way. I think it wasn't like notes on the staff. It was just like numbers. So for me, it was harder because like seeing the intervallic structures and staffs kind of help to gauge, you know, like how far you're going up by. So anyway, you know, they came to me and they say, you know, yeah, we still want you and whatever. And they made it clear to me that it wasn't just to get someone to sing, but to get someone who understood what they were singing. And I'm not going to lie, because at the time, Take 6 music, when I listened to it, it was just listening and it was great, but like what are they doing theoretically? It was not always clear to me. So I got to be a part of that eventually, and I started to catch on and started singing that I don't usually do. And the man them there say, you know, we like what is happening, the progress that you're making. And well, no, I've been a member of Evince for some time now, for like what, a year or 2? I think it's been like 2 years now. But I remember. But yeah.
I stick and singing lead already.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they went from not singing to singing lead.
Yeah.
Zane. Gia, talk to me.
All right. So, I mean, I've been singing a lot from high school, from prep school, to be honest.
Gia,
And
should I share me and your story?
I mean, I'll think about.
All
right, no problem.
We can
Because you know,
honest.
growth
To
is
be
a
honest.
thing.
Go
So I
on,
just
Gia,
want to
share.
put that disclaimer. Growth is a thing. So yeah, they used to teach me. Yeah, go on first.
Yeah, Gia is annoying. I swear when Gia, I used to teach Gia piano.
Yeah.
She used to have some problem. Like,
Your piano too. I used to teach your piano too.
uh-huh.
Yeah, already used to teach me as well.
Yeah.
Yo, when Gia was young,
You?
that was the, if class was an hour, that was the worst hour of my week. I swear. And
Yeah, bro.
MC never even appear me that good. Like, yeah, they weren't. I said, what did I sign myself up for? Anyway, go on, Gia, sorry.
Yeah. And what a lot of people don't know is my age. So people would look at me and assume that I'm older. But the truth is, I'm actually very young. So, you know, when young children not interested in certain, and I did kind of too smart too. You see me? So like, when you get bored at a certain thing, you start give one bag of trouble. And Dale teach me, do re mi fa so. I don't want to do that. I want to play cards, bad man, you know? I want to play cards. So every day, him come, he's like, Gio, where's your book? I say, no, I use that, sir. I start playing little 6, then 4, then 1. And I said, that bad, not true. And they'll just depend this, like, why am I doing this? But I mean, Dale and I will go way back to, because Dale, I mean, later on when I was a little bit older, he was my choir director at Victor Dixon.
Yeah.
And I think I was better there. Yeah.
Yeah, man, Gio transform. Like, I've never seen such a transformation in a human being. Like, Gio come, Gio get tall, Gio mature, and I say, huh? Like, a different human being.
That's the thing with age, you know? That's the thing with age. But going to Evince now, I've been a fan, really and truly, in the whole sense of the word. Craig and I are friends for a good while now. When I had a group in high school called Vocal Harmony, Craig and Winston basically used to mentor me and the guys. Everywhere we sang, we would have gotten encouragement from those guys. You know, I mean, people that come to us differently and say, you sound good, but Winston and Craig would have shared content. And then when I realized that, they started a group like Take Six now. Take Six is my favorite group in life. So, I mean, I don't know not all that well, but I know all I Take Six sang them. Is it me? So, like, enough time to, they would be performing at school, and it wasn't probably the best performance, but me I say, yo, that man, you're bad still, you know, that man, you're bad. So I did always rate them. And then I think, as I said, I didn't hear them live when Jehu was in the group, but I think I started hearing them more when Justin and Aaron was in the group. And I'm like, yo, the man, you come for the acapella in Jamaica and them gone with it. Right? So, I mean, you know, fast forward now to university, I joined a group called One Accord with Jackson them, the little vibes group of like offshoot of Shahai, you know, Kavian, Alex, Jackson, Vijay, Kelly, yeah man, I don't know One Accord. And we're singing a more, you know, what can I say? Vibes, contemporary thing rather than, Take Six. And I mean, I was doing it because them asked me for singing at the group. So I said, sure, no problem. And I wanted to keep singing. You know, you're at university. Vocal harmony by that time was just a high school thing. We didn't continue much into university. And I also joined Shahai, and that was Dale again. So, you know, Dale's been at a lot of points in my life. So big up Dale.
Yes, sir.
But when was it? I started university at 16. I wasn't 17 yet. And I think the year after I joined, Brendan sent me a voice note. So that was a shocker because, of course, I know Brendan from afar. I have his number. I said, this man sent me a 1 minute voice note out of the blue. So I was in Cedar Hall at the time. I did step out and I say, yo, this kind of serious. Probably more me sing with Kingdom Praise or something. Yeah, listen to the voice note. And he was basically saying, what do you feel about, or how do you feel about singing with Evince? Yo, that was probably one of the best days in my life because, all right, so Craig would always show me some of the songs, some ideas we did have for the group. And I say, yeah, man, this is very tough. You know, in another life mode, I want to sing with you. Then a couple months down, I get a voice note saying, would you like to sing with Evince? And I'm like, sure, right there and then, no reluctance. I'm not sure if Brendan remembers that instance, but
yes.
There was no reluctance. There was an issue though. There was an issue because being 17 in university is weird enough. And singing with a big group like Evince now at 17, you know, parental discretion is advised and everything. So they had that, you know, them of a song that them sing, they have a few more miles to go. My yes wasn't the final mile, right? With my parents. And that's one of the things I'm grateful for too, because I mean, a lot of people feel like my mother and my father are very, you know, strict, but they really and truly are very supportive of what I want. They dot all the I's and cross all the T's before them say yes, though. Yeah. Very meticulous. And they wanted to know that I was at a place that I could manage it because it's not a normal thing for people to be. You know, you're 17, you're going out almost every week. It's not a normal thing. Your parents want to know what's up. So they wanted to know that their son would be fine. And I like the way how Brendan and Oren dealt with that situation, to be honest, you know, understanding, because I was kind of worried, you know, I said, okay, them asked me, but this couldn't work out because, you know, Auntie Georgette or Uncle Andrew, but all in all, it worked out, and I give thanks for that. When I first joined the group, I was third tenor. Aaron was still the first tenor, and my first performance was at OC. Yeah, but I think that covers my initial stages of Evince.
Yeah. I'd say your mother is very thorough.
Yeah, very meticulous.
Very thorough. She know all the details, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Craig, there's been a lot of mention of you. So the first person I saw that was doing this kind of, these kind of harmonies and this kind of take six feel was Craig. And Craig had a different group than Straight Hope, I believe.
Yeah, actually, Straight Hope was the only group I've ever been in since university. Funny enough. Yeah, so that's where I actually started. But it's like I always wanted the group to, do certain sort of different cards. So I would try some arrangements. I'm saying, I think about this, try that. At that time I was doing bass, so kind of be strange for a bass man. I get everybody other things that I'm supposed to do and so on. So it's like I really kind of had a breakthrough when the group was in its third iteration, I believe. So the group changed about 4 times actually. So there was a point when it was just only me that was only original member, and we had to find like other people coming in. But in the third iteration, we found Winston now. So from that time, me and Winston kind of, hit head together at that time. So Winston sang baritone, and I sang above him, I believe. No, so Winston.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would sing what Najee is singing now. So it's really from that time, I said, all right then, we must can try this one. So like, at least when 2 persons were approaching the group now, then I actually had something concrete, because I didn't used to like physically transcribe most. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, also G was also a part of that iteration too.
Oh yeah, man. Jay was a part of the last iteration.
Jay was in Straight Hope?
Jehu.
Jehu.
Yeah, I did hear my name too, and I was like,
yeah.
Yeah, so the good thing about that is that from when Straight Hope ended now and we were transitioning into Evince, it's basically like one half of Straight Hope became one half of Evince, because it was just it was Winston, Jehu, me, and then Brendan, Oren, and Aaron. So that's how we actually created the group at that time.
Gotcha. Because for me, so from my perspective, I see Straight Hope, and there was no group that was doing that kind of thing. And it's like, it was just almost there. I could hear the intention, I know it's good, but it's like, it's not quite there, but the intention is there and I hear it. And then when Evince come, I was like, they got it now. Have it figured out. So yeah. So how these things develop. Now, what I want to know, Evince, what is the meaning behind the name, and who chose the name?
Winston.
Yeah, so, so Evince, the name Evince, I saw the word Evince was, I think I saw David Astrick, Adventist pastor. He was talking about some issue, and he mentioned the word Evince. And like at the same time, I started to find the meaning of it, and it means like to demonstrate or to show clearly. And so when we were thinking about a name for our group, and within the group, different members, we're all suggesting different names. And I thought of that name because I say, it's good to have a name that kind of points to ministry. So we say Evince Christ. We want to Evince Christ in our music. As Brendan said, it was important the Christian part of the group, because we know that we're going to be an influence, and we want to be a good influence. So we thought of the name Evince. So Evince Christ in our music and in our ministry. So that's how the name came to be.
Cool. All right. So here's what I want to know, which I've always wanted to know, right? So I've always known Winston to be, always creating these crazy arrangements, right? Brendan has a big bad keezy. Oren, big bad keezy. Najee, Big Bad Keezy. Craig, as I said, is the first person I've been seeing doing this kind of thing on campus. And Gio, vocalist, always doing his arrangements and all that kind of thing. So what is the arranging process for Evince? Is it that Oren might just come with a full arrangement and the next song Brendan come, or does everybody have input on each arrangement? Talk to me about the creative process of each arrangement.
Could I say something on that? Because the thing is, I see this group, I see it as a blessing for me because these guys are so talented. Like I remember before the group became a thing, when Mr. Brendan play piano, I like him to play some extremely fat chords, like I said to myself, and so on, and same with Oren, as Oren a cheer say, like, with me, I watch him play the piano, and like him play so much. I mean, even after the group was formed, they were doing this thing in chapel, and I was doing an art thing, and Oren was playing the music, man. And I told say, I was distracted by the music because of how good it sounded, So just to mention that the talent in this group, it's really a blessing, man.
So yeah, man, talk to me about the process. And I don't want to downplay, before you answer, I don't want to downplay Winston's talent. Let me tell you something. So I released a song called Stones, right? And I had some persons doing some arrangements of it. Najee did an arrangement with Gio, Winston. Now Winston did an arrangement with Gio.
Yeah.
I want you all to know, because I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, have heard it. That was the B arrangement. He did an arrangement before that. Nobody heard it except for myself. Let me tell you.
Really?
Yeah, may I tell you, the one with him and Gio, that one, the light compared to the first one.
I heard it too.
You heard it? You heard the first one?
Yeah, I think Winston did show me what he had in mind first, but he never end up using it.
Yo, when Winston sent it to me, if you see me in my living room, I jump up and down like, yo, it did. Yeah. It was.
Sounds like Winston.
Man, is a maestro, man.
Winston.
Yeah, it was crazy. Trust me. And then he said, you know what? Let me make it more, so people can digest it. Let me dumb it down a little bit, so people head now will just explode. So yeah, trust me. I think I'm gonna release it. If I can find it, I'm gonna put it out there because they're crazy. Yeah. But I want to know what is the process when Evince is arranging a song?
All right, so the process is, it's similar to what you said, where I will come with an entire arrangement. Brendan will come with an entire arrangement, Winston. For most of the stuff that we've done, one person has arranged it. So I pledge was Winston. And for musicians, and you will know, Dale, we normally will have ideas and we'll write them down or so. So for most of the things that we've done, there were transcriptions that were already done by one of the group members, say Winston or Brendan or myself. So that is how most of the things that we have done so far have been done. For Joshua, that we released yesterday, that was a collaborative arrangement. So I think that was one of our first collaborative arrangements. But we have
Noel.
Oh, Noel. Noel was a collaborative arrangement as well, the first one.
Yeah.
So Noel was arranged by me, Brendan, and Winston. So Brendan did one part, I did one part, and then Winston did another part. So so we do collab within the group for arrangements from time to time. But most of the stuff have been individual so far.
Gotcha.
Well, Oren, there was this, I don't know if you remember, but this one time we sang at Mandeville Church and we had to come up with an arrangement like the same night or same afternoon.
Oh yeah.
Was it the Savior's Waiting?
Savior's Waiting.
Yeah, that was, it was like all of us was coming together and said, oh, let's do this, let's try this. I was like, yo, we can put this in here, and then everybody was like, okay, this works. And then we went and did what we did.
Okay.
Dope.
That process kind of rough still because everybody
Everybody have
so much
different
ideas.
Different thought
make you
processes.
confused. You know what to use.
Yeah.
I think that one was largely Najee's. That one was largely Najee's type of. I think he kind of gave us the shell of that arrangement, and we just fill it in.
Right.
Dope. You know what I just realized? What I just heard. I don't know how it missed me, but it was just yesterday or day before. I saw Winter Wonderland, which you guys did with Raheem Betty, Ray Betts.
Yeah.
Who was playing keys? Who did the keys solo?
You said you just did that?
Yeah, I don't know how that missed me.
What?
Cause when I was when y'all sent me when Oren sent me the information about Joshua, that's when I realized that y'all had the channel. Cause I've seen all the arrangements, whether Facebook or wherever I've seen them. But that's the time when I subscribed to the channel, and then the first thing I saw there was the Winter Wonderland. I was like, "How this miss me?" And so I watched it. So, but I couldn't tell who did the key solo. Who was that?
That's
All right. You see, guys, like it's so much talent in the group. I can't even.
Arrange this song.
All right.
And arrange it. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yo, I would love to say something still, cause all right, you normally sing, and in certain groups you don't pay attention to certain things. So when I was in other groups, you just start the song, you don't really care about the pitch. You might come off key more time, change the whole key, yes, you change the whole key, and it's like you're singing same way, and in your head, that's good. So like when I joined Evince, that was an eye-opener for me, because the slightest move, that's trouble, and in the initial stages, I caused a lot of that because I wasn't used to it. But I loved it, because one thing about me, when I realized that I'm doing something wrong, I just always go work on it. I always want to learn, I always want to get it right. But I feel like joining Evince would have helped me as a musician. My ear is much better now when I'm listening to other groups, and the slightest thing. That's the next thing to Bo Winston that a lot of people don't know. The man ear is very clean. Very clean. And the man will smile with you a lot. He's your friend, But if you're wrong, you're just wrong, brother. And if you're off, like more time, I think we were doing some for Geo with Shahaye in the music building. Them times I just joined. I think we were doing Quiet Place. And I'm singing my part. I'm just even look for me and come some mess. But my auntie, I'm a microphone off. So humble myself, the rest I practice, because microtones, what is that? But yeah, man, this group really brought me up another level as relates to being direct and being very consistent in sound. Yeah, so
consciousness,
good.
Yeah. Oren, you're in the music department when Paul Tucker came, when the Tucker twins came.
Oh,
you weren't okay. No. Okay, cool. You don't know who those are? The Tucker twins. Two of.
I think I've heard of them, but I haven't met them.
You weren't on the choir then. Okay, because we had a similar experience where he came. He's a choir director. They're both choir directors. They're twins. One does like orchestras, and then the other does choirs. And he came to the department for like a week and worked with the choir. And he was focusing on pitch. And we realized that all of our lives we were just singing flat. Like it really doing all of our ears, like, and how to sing in pitch. And so I can relate to what you're saying, where like listening, you hear it differently. So yeah.
That actually increased for me as well when I joined Evince, because I never really used to pay so much attention to intonation, singing on key. I never really used to pay so much attention. So my ears actually improved. Brendan and Winston, I think, are the sharpest. My ears had to do a lot of work. I think it's a natural human thing. We're not gonna be like.
Yeah, and to add to what Oren is saying, did you finish, Oren?
Yeah.
Yeah. To add to what Aaron was saying, it's not even just the consciousness of going off key, but even some intervals. Intervals for non-musical persons are like two notes happening being sounded at the same time, right? So even for intervallic structures, there are some very dissonant, some very unpleasant sounding intervals, right? Where when they occur in a bigger, space, like in a bigger chord, it is a more pleasant, magical thing. When I joined Evince, I had to sing a lot of those dissonant. I still have to sing a lot of those dissonant things. A lot of the times it's with Craig or Oren, and if I miss it, even if it's microtonal, it just doesn't have the feeling. So the consciousness, really grew since I joined Evince. My ears it still has a lot of work to do, but it has improved a lot. And even just joining Evince and seeing how like Winston and Oren and Brendan operate, and the clarity that they hear things with, it's really baffles me sometimes. But the consciousness was something that I really appreciate, and it has really been a thing that has been instilled now.
And Najee, it's not like those microtones have micro implications, It's some big difference. Massive difference. Like suppose it did like super off,
You understand?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, man. Has a lot of time, Brendan. We gonna say, something wrong.
Better sing a wrong note, or better sing a tone off than sing a microtone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to add though, that kind of remind me of a song that Najee and I are very close. Come and feed us. Is that section?
Gentle.
Right.
A very unreleased thing. Yeah.
Yes. But it's like this. That part it almost took me forever to get it, because once anybody is even off by, as I must say, a microtone,
right, and the B flat.
Right, the card is not made none at all. So if you don't sing that, that is not the card. It might sound good enough, but Brendan's like, come again. and then we'll go over and over until we finally get it.
Yeah,
man, but pretty fun stuff.
Gotcha.
Question. That one was arranged by Brendan Coleman, so look out for that one.
Look out.
What's the name of that one? Or
didn't know my last name.
What is that?
What's gonna be on the
V.
Can I hear you? Where is it, Brendan?
That was just letting you know that be on the album.
Okay. Gotcha. Here's my next question. I want to know, apart from T6, because I know that's like the obvious reference, what are some like influences that you guys may draw from for this kind of sound?
I think naturally all of us have our individual influences, and that would just influence our entire musicality. That would shape our whole musical experience. So it would shape how you would arrange, what chords you'd play, why. So I know for Brendan and probably Najee too, most pianists listen to a lot of Art Tatum. You once you say Art Tatum, you know who that is. Corey Henry, Oscar Peterson. So the jazz greats, the current jazz greats, the old jazz greats. Who else you have? Regular
Anomaly.
regular acapella, sorry. 4-part harmony. That's also an influence.
Don't forget,
I don't listen
Gators,
to
Yeah, brother.
Right, like Gator. I don't really listen to acapella that much. I think everybody else in the group listens to more acapella music than me. I think I more listen to.
No.
No?
Can I give a Tbh Dale?
And Najee, so I don't think Najee listen a cappella.
Brendan.
Brendan, and then.
Yes. I used to hate a cappella. Hate it down to bed. I used to have a group at my church. Every song we learning, one of the guys used to say, so Brendan, you can't dance. And I used to say, no man. I used to use the excuse that we're ready for a cappella yet. Just because I didn't know how to sing a cappella. It wasn't until university that I started to sing in an a cappella group. Before that, I used to hate. I love Take Six, but I guess I gave up on the idea of singing in a group that would be able to sing Take Six type songs. Right. So for that reason, I just hated a cappella because I did not like the type of a cappella that I heard people singing, and the mainstream a cappella, I didn't like it. So I would stick to my musicians that I love, like Oren said, my Tatum. And I would listen to the old guys like High Lows, and there's a group called Singers Unlimited, some old time jazz groups, And as it really contemporary groups or singers, I listen to like Kim Burrell, people like those, and I'd go as far as to find out who is playing for these people, who are the musicians, and then I find out about Kevin Bond, people like those. So the influence is kind of diverse, and then when you put them all together now, and you take bits and pieces from everybody and until you form your own unique flavor and sound. Yeah.
As for me, I was not really a fan of a cappella. It's not that I hated it. I was not as passionate about my dislike as Brendan. But growing up and the groups that were around, it wasn't necessarily like a pleasure listening, right? So when they came up and they started to sing, it was like, oh, a cappella. So for me, a cappella had this bad thing in mind. So for a while, a cappella was not like something to listen to. I would not go on YouTube and search for anything a cappella, any at all. I started university, and that's when I was introduced to Evince. And I've always heard, oh, that's a lie. I remember Boys to Men. I knew like 1 and 2 Boys to Men from like earlier on, and that was probably like one of the few a cappella groups that and they're not even like a cappella. Right, they just have like 1 and 2 songs that are a cappella. And I was like, this is clean, right? I was like, why can't the groups around me, be this tidy? And everybody was like, oh, no. It was just like chanting, and I hated hearing it. So coming to university, as Brendan mentioned, drawing inspiration from even contemporary music out there. So like Kimberell's, because I was actually introduced to Kimberell by Brendan. Because when I just started NCU, I was playing for Kingdom Praise that Brendan was in charge of at the time. So certain songs, Brendan used to introduce me to them, and there was certain type of playing was kind of new to me. So even though in Evince and coming up with like ideas, I still go back to like people like those for inspiration. I didn't really know much about Take Six until Evince, and I started listening a lot more a cappella music. So now I listen to like people like Evince, Ascent, Committed Singers, and there are a few more. And I realized that by listening to them, the a cappella that I grew up to, that's not the only a cappella there is. There's more refined and more pleasurable a cappella. And I realized also that by listening this a cappella, that my ears, has gotten a lot cleaner. Because even like listening to instrumental music, it's a lot easier to hear chords. So like if somebody's playing, I can see it in my head sometimes, like what they're doing. Not because I have played it before, but just because a cappella music is a lot harder to decipher what they're doing. And by being able to decipher that, it makes it easier to decipher other types of music. So my appreciation for a cappella has definitely grown considerably since Evince. Take Six, started listening to them a lot more since Evince. So yeah, I don't want to say because Oren was want to claim the title of not listening to listening to the least amount of acapella. And I remember the other day I transcribed that song, and it was for personal reasons still, but no thinking of it, I might make Evan sing it. But I transcribed that song and I was asking Evans that this song? And it's a Take Six song, And I thought it was popular because Gio knew it and a lot of other persons knew it. And Oren's like, no, I never heard this before. So I say, you sure? Take Six sing it, No, I don't think I ever Take Six song. So
I tell you,
yeah,
I don't know it, bro. I tell you, man.
So maybe initially I was not like an avid listener of acapella, but now I listen to a lot more. Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. So my influence now would be, all right. So now Najee and Brendan and Oren told their story about the acapella they would have been hearing locally. But I think I was privileged to like grow up because my father, he can sing. I guess he would have been active in a lot of groups when he was younger. So he had a lot of, at the time it was cassettes. I'm young, but not that young. You'd still have cassettes them time there. Heritage Singers, Take Six, Friday, and acapella. Because I was introduced to those groups from early, I kind of had a standard. Even though the acapella company wasn't a big standard because they were singing basic chords really, but they were very enjoyable. And to me, it was like a levels thing. So acapella, I think it was acapella vocal band. It was a cassette from them that he had first. They were decent. And then you had Heritage now with, they weren't really acapella, but they had some nice chord structures. Heritage kind of consistent with that, right? Too. And then you have Take Six, which is the peak of harmonies, chords, everything, and Negro spirituals in a different way. So I think I was introduced from an early time to, I would say 3 levels of a cappella. So even though I would be hearing probably mediocre stuff locally or in real life, I knew what to expect from a cappella. So that's why I love a cappella right through. Nowadays, I listen to Committed, Ascent, Jacob Collier from time to time. That Monday, a mastermind.
Sticking.
Yeah, but as I said too, Evince, I used to listen to Evince too a lot. Every time the song let me drop, like funny story, I was listening to First Noel yesterday on YouTube. 3 years ago, they did release it, and I saw my name under the comments. Great job, guys! At the group. I was a fan. I'm still a fan. So.
Forecasting,
That's my influence. Mm-hmm.
You know what school that Najee and Gio said they listened to Evince. Like they named them as one of their influences. I find that really cool.
Yeah, this is cool. Well, I don't know if we still have time to expand on this section. Okay. Well, for me, actually got my start in listening to any like acapella based music. Also, like Gio said, from my dad. But what happened is that my dad came home with a cassette as well. But this cassette was not any ordinary cassette. This cassette was from Breath of Life Quartet. Right? So I heard there are 2 distinct songs on that album that stood out to me. It was Kumbaya. I think Winston knows this song. We used to hear it from, we heard Amen, and Amen was at NCU.
Amen.
Song that, yeah. Right. But that song, when I heard it, I was like, what is going on here? Because they were just using four parts, but it gave the feel of like, almost like a full jazz arrangement in 4 parts. So I'm like, Pops, you get this from? And he's like, well, I get it from them friends. Then he went, I think when King's Heralds, I'm not sure if they came locally, but my dad got a CD from them as well. And it's like, it's not like a regular go-to. Cause most persons out there sing songs around these groups are like the older elders in a church or the older members would maybe gravitate to these songs. But like when you kind of get to like listen to it and kind of dissect it, you're like, whoa, a lot of things are doing here. You get me? So that's kind of, some of the songs that I kind of got my start on, as well as acapella, because acapella, I think the thing with acapella, why it probably gets a bad rap, like the group itself, is that their songs are one thing you can't beat acapella with having readily available songs. No matter which country you go, them have to know acapella in some form, the group itself. You understand? So it's just the ability to really like be experiencing like a lot of complex things. It wouldn't really be available for everyone. You understand? So I got my start with them as well. So that's kind of, the whole infusion for me.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. Yeah. For me, like before the acapella groups, I know one of the groups I love very much is the Brooklyn Tabernacle Choir. And I know the other guys them know too how much, because the thing about it, like when I listen to the music behind the songs, like I'm still one of the album which influenced me the most. And I think I Lifted Up is the name of the album. With songs like the Battle in the Republic and Father We Adore Thee and those songs, and like the orchestra behind the music, like when I listen to the thing, it might sound simple on the surface. When I listen it, what things are going, And like, I mean, there's so much groups, heritage singers, what Gio mentioned, and so many other persons, And I think Jacob Collier is one of the person that many persons will love now, because he is doing so much things in music. He's kind of a quiet taste, but yeah, man. And the thing about it, you have groups like real group. There's so much groups, me in past and now you have real group, which I tend to always love. Accent, as you guys mentioned, committed singers. You have Vade, and you have Tasteless, of course. The thing for me with acapella I really grew up on. As from my side, I'm from the West, and acapella is what we mostly grew up on, and country western, southern gospel music. So theaters and those cathedrals, old friends, those type of music, So we grew up on those, and as well acapella. So I love I love acapella company songs, and I really me start first trying to pick out the parts them, and I think that kind of prepare me to be able to understand Texas songs in the future, because I wasn't able to understand. Like first time I start Texas song, we drop asleep. I try to pick out the parts, just sound like a bees. You know what I mean? Yeah, man.
Oh boy.
Cool.
Those are just some of the influences.
Cool. I want to say Evince has been influential to me in two specific things. Not necessarily musically, because me not really start delving for the type of thing yet. But from a life standpoint, so there are two things that Evince did that really impacted me. The first one was when it was 2017, Emancipation Day. You guys dropped I Pledge, right? And to me, it wasn't just the music of it, but it's the fact that you guys took opportunity of a national holiday and released a song that was relevant to the holiday. And I said, no man, this is bad man. And I had my poem, which is about Jamaica, which is Love with an Older Woman. And same time as I saw your arrangement, I was like, yo, I have to do a video for my poem. And so when you guys released that Emancipation Day, that week I worked on my video, and then I released it on Independence Day, which would be like 5 days later. And so you guys, that move really influenced me to do that. And that video opened up doors for me, because that video, when I released it, I got called by TBJ and I did an interview with them, and it opened up some doors. So I'm definitely grateful for that move from you guys. And then the second thing, which I can't tell the full story of, but added the meltdown. for all the viewers, if you want to know, you can check out episode 1, which I did with Leslie, which I share that full story. I won't share it here. You guys can check that out. But what I will say is, I remember is when you guys did an AY program at Mandover Church, and a part that I didn't highlight much in that conversation with Leslie is, for me, music and spirituality were always just really connected, right? And so even when I was like doing things I wasn't supposed to be doing, for me personally, I found it hard to like practice during those times, because they're just so connected, my music and my spirituality. And just seeing the level of music that was coming from the group, while I was where I was spiritually, it was just like, and I know everybody, all of you will have your struggles and your things that you're working on, whatever, but it just looked like perfection. Like, it was just like perfection coming from the group. And it just made me want to be better as a person because of how excellent the music was. And that's one of the few times that I witnessed music that made me just want to be a better person. So from a life standpoint, I just want to say that the group was very influential for me. And I'm definitely grateful for the guys' ministry where that's concerned.
That's deep, bro. That's deep, bro.
Yeah, man. So I just want to encourage you guys to keep doing what you're doing. The last thing we're going to talk about is yesterday you guys released a song. So I just want you guys to just promote right now and tell everybody about what you just released.
Yeah, man.
Well, so Joshua, me, you're sure me? Okay.
Are you, man?
All right. So Joshua is a song we released yesterday at 5:30. Well, the YouTube was at 5:30. We tried as best as possible to keep it 5:30 as possible. So YouTube was 5:30 for sure. I know that much. The others were like 7 o'clock-ish, 7:30-ish. But all in all,
SoundCloud
yesterday. SoundCloud did up and run into 5:30. It's a song that I think was recorded before. What's this? Probably some of the recordings were before Nadia and I started or joined the group. And it's a song that was introduced to us, and I was like, yo, this is very tough. Who arranged this? And then I was told that Craig and Winston did it. It's a lovely song. It's a song. What I like about the song, by the way, I'm a part of the Department of Communication Studies at NCU, and they teach you a lot about how you should market yourself yourselves as persons, or if you're doing PR, how you would represent your company, or regardless of what exactly you do, how you represent something. And what I liked about that song, apart from the sound and a media or business point of view, I love that it was very relatable. Now, in media, we have a thing called target audience. Well, in everything, but especially in media. Something that you have to decipher when you're doing something, in being intentional in whatever you're doing, you have to select your target audience. And I would say Evince's target audience would be basically Christians who love music. And in my mind, all Christians who love music, even if you don't love music, all Christians would have heard the song, Joshua fought the battle of Jericho. So relatability is something very key. And you said something to that, Dale, when they did the I Pledge, and you said that influenced you to do your thing. That was our next instance of relatability, because it's emancipendence time, and you post something relating to Jamaica. So capitalizing on that is very key. Now, Joshua is a song I did love a long time. I have listened to a lot of versions of that song, and I can say this without any bias that the one that I released, Evince released yesterday, is my favorite version of the song. Oren did well with the vocals, Big up Oren, Mr. Thomas. Yeah, man. And did we sing this song live before, guys?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, many times.
I don't remember. Somebody take it from
here.
We
did. We did it at Family of God.
Right.
in Spanish Town. We did it at this church in Mandeville. I don't remember the name. We did it at this little church in Mandeville. I think for the first time we did it was at this church in Mandeville. We did it recently. I try to remember where. Was it at Central? Was that Central Conference?
It's at Bendon.
Bendon.
Yes, Bendon. We also did it at Bendon. So we did at least maybe between 3 to 5 times we performed it before, I think.
The finding is this basically Craig's baby, and I have heard very little of him in regards to the song.
Exactly.
Remember, this is your baby now. Yeah, this is your baby, and then Winston jump in, and they need to tell us about your song.
Yeah, I would love to know too.
All right, so the story actually of this song. I think there was a group in, I'm not sure if they're in South Africa. Just Six. I think they did a similar song to this called. I think it's even under the similar name. But like when I heard it, I'm like, I wonder, like what I could actually do similar to this. So in like I have a kind of different way to arrange on everyone that I just take my phone and my headphone and anything that comes to me, I just record it. I just record it and just save it somewhere. So what happened is that there was a particular night that I was recording this, and it came to me and I'm like, hold on. I recorded the first section of it, sent to the group. Then I got the second section, sent to the group. Then I got the end and sent to the group. So I'm like, yo, this song a bad song. I kind of like the song. But I'm like, but you can't make a song with a first, a second, and an end. And there's like nothing to link the first 2 sections to the end. So I think we were in our practice and we said that, they wanted me to finish working on the song. And I'm sorry, then Winston, come in. Winston and I used a classroom. I'm not sure if you remember Winston, 5th floor, Robinson Hall. Used the classroom, and like every time Winston like did like when I said, all right, Winston, go home, I'll see what you come up with that. And Winston came up with something. Come the day, and I'm like, all right. Because I think the first thing that Winston did was that the song itself, the key for the song, for us to do certain things, the song was like a lot lower. So Winston kind of brought up the key of the song, and I said, all right then, good, we can start there. So, and then he added the other sections with the horn section he added. And I heard the horn section, I was like, and then and I was like, all right, I got this on. So it's like basically that was like my first time actually arranging anything that any group has ever, well, no, not really. Not any group has ever sung, but that any group has ever recorded. So this would technically be the first time my name would be on credits for anything recorded by a group. So, that's something I'm actually very proud of. So it's not really that I don't talk a lot about, this baby of the song, but it's like, what do you say? Because I mean, a lot of guys in the groups have arranged a lot of songs. It's like, when this was released, like, I was like, how should I feel? You understand? So it's like, I'm excited, and at the same time, I'm humbled, if you get what I mean. So it's like, yeah. So and I understand what arrange, like what hearing your arranged music, like, I think is a term that Dale said to me that whenever you record your music, it is forever immortalized. Yeah. So that's kind of a big thing for me with this now. So at least I can say, hey, there's this song that I recorded. Go on YouTube and listen to it. Before I used to have to be like, if I find you, right. Before me used to be like, if I find you, I can make you hear this somebody do. But no longer is it, in that embryonic stage anymore. It's, public for everyone to enjoy and listen. So, Joshua.
I love the message of the song too. Like, even today, I put on my social media, I was like, it's amazing how God can use noise pollution to win the victory for somebody. We'd go to a lot of churches, probably not this specific group, but certain conservative audience, them don't really like them, so we're making noise and whatever. Them don't understand what we're doing. But this song is kind of like a reassurance to know that. And it's not even an issue with just us though, because I was watching, I think, Take Six's podcast, Spread Love podcast, and they were saying when they had just started, so they had the same issue. People just felt like they were just up there snapping them fingers, nothing sensible. They were used to it, they didn't like it. But the people on the Jericho walls didn't like it too. And God will use anything. And that's the next message out of it. God can use anything. If God can use mere noise that makes no sense to defeat a great fortress, he can use you, he can use me. Dale did a similar song, about the Jericho walls. Tough arrangement.
Yeah. I was gonna
say, it was recorded on my birthday. Sorry, it's just the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, man. No, you pull me for come record for my birthday.
There's some science behind.
Yeah. Where's your Brendan?
I was saying something.
March 8th.
I'm saying that there's actually some science behind the Jericho Wall experience too. I remember in one of my math class, because there's resonance and frequency. Just similar to like if you sing at a certain resonance level, you can shatter a glass. So when the children of Israel were marching around the wall of Jericho, there was the vibration that they caused because of the impediments and the marching. It may create some vibrations within the wall, and it may vibrate at the right frequency, so much so that the walls just came crumbling down. And it goes to show you that even before technology and knowledge, God is all-knowing, and there are things that may seem to be senseless to us, like marching around a wall and the walls came coming down. But with God, when we just trust, and even though it doesn't make any sense to us, and even though the knowledge may not be revealed to us, he's still the author and the originator of knowledge, and we must just trust him, and whatever he says we must do. And once we do that, if we have any walls in our lives, like Joshua and the children of Jericho, who needed that wall to be out of their way, God can remove it from our lives too.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Word. Yeah. Word.
Jill, you mentioned the song that I recorded. I was going to say we need to have a Joshua and Walls matchup.
Yeah, and I remember when we were in New York, bro, and Kavian and I added two parts to it.
Yeah.
So you need to.
Yeah.
But let's see.
Yeah,
two beautiful songs about Joshua. Could I probably do a little musical?
Indeed. Craig, you said this was your first arrangement, so you're saying this is the floor. This is just a starting point.
No, I was saying this is my first recorded arrangement.
First recorded arrangement, yeah.
Right. But as you're saying, this is the floor. This is the ground floor. I'm just coming in now. So
yeah.
There are many other levels to reach. Like a Brendan, or a Winston. And Najee.
Indeed.
I mean, you guys haven't heard from Najee and Gio yet, but trust me. Songs are
I've heard from me now, but outside of Evince.
Actually, there was a thing that me and Gio did, but I don't think it was for the public. No, man. There's a thing, the information, the
the oration.
Yeah,
oh no, that's a different thing.
That's somewhere.
But Najee, something for Evince already. He arranged a virtual. I think we were introducing Evince for a virtual orientation at NC. So he did a little song for us.
Right.
And it was very well done as well. Yeah.
Well, it was actually me and Giovanni. So it's
I wrote the words, so I wouldn't take any credit for the arrangement.
He wrote the words and he
I arranged the
supplied the
words.
melody. He supplied the
Trust me,
melody and
the words very important too.
True.
Yeah, man.
True.
Yeah, man.
All right, guys. So wrapping up,
Yeah.
I just want y'all to tell people where they can find your music. And if there's anything they should be looking out for.
Find our music on YouTube, SoundCloud, Instagram, Facebook. We are not on Spotify.
Yes.
We are not. No, because people keep asking. We're not on Spotify yet, guys, but we're working on getting on it. Won't release any more details, but we'll soon be on it. But YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, SoundCloud, at Evince Sextet.
Gotcha.
Enjoy the free music while you can, folks.
That's right.
Gentlemen, I must say it was a pleasure having you. Definitely.
No problem.
Good to be here, sir.
Being here. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
And definitely keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, bro. Will do.
Let me say you have a song for write for him. You have a song for write for we too.
Who that?
Me say you have a song for write for we.
Me have a song for everyone?
Yeah?
Man,
I don't know how to sing the basic song.
write them and send them along. No man,
You'll have
write
some
it
bad
with
songs
with
for
the
you, you know.
lyrics.
Yeah, man, we write the lyrics. And
No,
then
you
you just,
lyrics, you can't even put the tune to it.
all right,
And then
let's do that. And then just work on the magic.
Yeah.
All right, that sounds like a plan.
Collab.
All right, gentlemen, big up on yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, this is another episode of TBH.
We've turned our milestones into stepping stones, and we're gonna rock. He will guide us home to our Canaan land, where we long to be. We've turned these milestones, these stones into stepping stones, till we're stepping home to eternity.